Now you're going to be watching Helldivers 2, the gameplay, and it's like 13 minutes. Guess I want to try to talk in between it. So PlayStation Access. So here we go.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to PlayStation Access. My name is Ash, and I'm joined by Dave.
Hello.
And we have just.
Okay, so this is the UI, and this is everything. Time, it's like unlimited time. Stratagems, like stuff you could bring. If you didn't bring anything. Compass. All right.
Come back fresh from a hell dive into Helldivers 2.
I'm so stoked, Ash. I loved playing Helldivers 2, and I'm really looking forward to doing this video and talking about it. It's so good.
So we had a 4-player squad going into this preview, and we had an absolute blast. So we've got 5 reasons why you're going to absolutely love Helldivers 2. And first of all, I thought we better just go straight in there with talking about the combat, because that is the main meat of this game. And boy, is it meaty.
So it shows the grenades in here. All right. And this is ammo for the weapon. I don't know what this is.
And bloody and gruesome.
Yeah, things pop, things fall apart, things will crush you.
Yeah.
The combat in this game is excellent. It's so Moorish. All the different kinds of weapons are really fun to use, and you have to really learn about them. All the different enemy types have their own traits. I got the impression that there is like loads to learn, and there's no like right way to approach anything, which I think is really fun. And the combat is like the best example of that, of just getting into a squad, everyone just having these weapons, not really knowing what to do with them right away and figuring it out, but it's so much fun to do.
Yeah, for sure. It totally captures that kind of Starship Troopers, throwing cannon fodder down with heavy weaponry, figure it out as you go, because there's more of you coming if you fall down. And then with heavy weaponry...
Oh, hold on. There was...
throwing cannon fodder down.
Let's see. Reinforced resupply, energy beam... They had like a whole lot of stratagems. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it was Eagle Napalm Strike, Eagle Strafing, Gatling Sentry, Machine Gun, Eagle Rearm. I don't know what that is.
And with heavy weaponry, figure it out as you go, because there's more of you coming if you fall down. And that is very much the vibe of Helldivers 2, and Helldivers in general, because the first game was very similar as well. That frantic sense of combat, of learning strategies on the fly, of accidentally bumbling through something and it looking very badass and cool is just amazing. It's so much fun. Like, there's so many moments where friendly fire came back to bite us, literally, but we'd still come through and then land a pod on something, or when you come back down and respawn, you can move your pod around as you come down, so maybe you land it on a bug or another person if you're lucky. I tried a lot, but I couldn't get anyone.
I was going to say, as well as accidentally looking cool, you can also try and look cool and do something bad.
Yeah.
Like, we all made massive mistakes, killing each other, throwing grenades at each other, in service to trying to complete our missions and kill these bugs or automatons or whatever we were up against.
Wait, did you say my...
Hold
on a second.
Bugs or automatons. Massive mistakes, killing each other, throwing grenades at each other, in service to trying to complete our missions and kill these bugs or automatons or whatever we were up against.
The level of liberty,
time and time again, we failed. But it was so much fun failing, and funny. Like, we just laughed a lot playing this game. And your squad is, you know, kind of weak. You've got these amazing weapons, but you yourself are weak. The enemies are numerous, sometimes massive, always powerful, and your weaponry is really powerful. And it's such an interesting combination of being like a weak little guy, but with the ability to bring in like orbital airstrikes on these titans, like these massive bugs or whatever. It's such a cool, weird asymmetrical sort of thing, and it was so much fun to play.
Yeah, I think that kind of leads us nicely into talking about the stratagems as well, because they're another core part of the combat mechanics, where you have to type in a little code on your D-pad as fast as possible in the middle of combat, so you're trying to avoid getting splatted in the process. You can call down absolutely hellish assault packs or resources, or even set up some defense turrets, and you just have to basically survive long enough to be able to do it, and then you can throw yourself on the floor and watch it unfold whilst everything goes crazy around you. Like, that is so much fun. The stratagems are definitely the star of the show.
Yeah, 100%, and it's all again in kind of service to that being just a fairly fragile human, but with access to all this weaponry. So you are having to frantically input this code, but whilst you're doing that, you can't really be shooting or anything. You can just run away, having to pick your moment. Like, usually if you're needing to call down a stratagem, it's because either you're getting prepared, which is very smart, or it's going wrong and you need to call in the big guns. And when you need the big guns and you are running, trying to read a little code and input it, it feels so
You can't dive
real.
into
The
prone.
stratagems, as you said, come in kind of 3 flavors. Assault, so something big and offensive.
Yeah.
A resource one, so you can call in certain
Wait,
weapons
wait,
that you
discover-
can use, or your assault, so
Discover minor place of interest. Okay, so I guess that's where
something big and
we get
offensive.
to
A resource one, so you can call
do
in
everything
certain
unlock?
weapons that you can use,
Did I
or
tell you
your
that?
teammates can use. And then there are defensive ones that you can set up turrets and things like that, which will kind of help defend you. And so there's a whole load of strategy there with you and your teammates figuring out who should have what stratagem. And they're all really fun to call in. This is the other thing. You think you just want the big boom, but actually just seeing these pods fly in from the sky is always fun. So I never felt like, oh, I wish I had the big bomb. I was like, whatever I was calling in, it was always cool. I would always look up and watch it come down, and I would always try and smash it onto some enemy at the same time. It's just brilliant.
Yes, we should talk about the enemies as well.
Yeah.
So we have the Terminids, which are a race of bugs that you may be familiar with if you've played the first game. If not, then they're very, very, very
Oh,
Starship
okay, I'm
Troopers.
sorry. I'm sorry. I need to hear this again. One sec.
Race of bugs that you may be familiar with if you've played the first game. If
It's try and smash
Okay,
it
who
onto
said
some
that?
enemy at the same time. It's just brilliant.
Yes, we should talk about the enemies as well.
Yeah.
So
Right.
we have the Terminids, which are a race of bugs that you may be familiar with if you've played the first game. If not,
Yeah, I was-
then they're very, very, very Starship Troopers. They're very, very the millions of xenomorphs in Aliens. They're lots of horrible little nasty
okay.
creatures that are insect-like. And you also have
Okay, so it's
automatons,
multiple
which are
kills.
basically robot people, but
Yeah.
a bit more heavy machinery. They're very
Left leg,
aggressive
right
and
leg.
nasty. They reminded me of Doom Eternals, like Revenant Skull.
Oh, yeah.
A bit more
Okay, use stem. So I guess, okay, so this is what it is. You can carry your stems on here, which is going to be useful. So if you low on health, you can heal. There's like the left leg, the torso, the right leg, and the right arm. So it seems like you just hurt and you need to stem and just recover. It looks like it is. And shadow incoming, defend distraction, and yeah. Okay, so that's what it's going to be.
heavy machinery. They're very aggressive and nasty. They reminded me of Doom Eternals, like Revenant Skull,
Oh, yeah.
like skeletons, but far less bony and far more metal.
Yeah, I think the Terminids, when I said earlier popping, like that's what I think of. They're crunchy, they're full of goo, and they literally pop. They spit poison and
They will put the
bile
goo
at
on you.
They absolutely will. That is their dream. They come out of nests, out of the ground. You have to throw grenades into these nests to,
Oh yeah, it's back.
to explode them, and knowing that like the nest is eradicated is very cool. And then the automatons, I've got to be honest, were my favorite to fight.
Ooh.
Mostly because I just felt like they were really crunchy and you could target specific limbs, their heads would come off. I felt like there were lots of different ways to attack them that weren't just kill them, if you know what I mean. It was like you could just disable them and know that you could slow them down, which I found just a lot of fun to do. They are very cool. They're very cool looking. And they've got glowing bits that just invite you to shoot.
I just
you know?
noticed
It's
the
like,
top
shoot my
right.
glowing bits.
Oh, and I shall.
Yeah.
I feel like with the
stuff you get to
automatons,
collect.
I definitely had more of those last stand moments where they would kind of loom down on you and you'd be stuck in a prone position with your gun firing upwards, trying to kill them before they squashed you.
Yeah.
And you could kind of come out of it on top. Whereas if you get overwhelmed by the bugs, you can be in that position and maybe get out of it, but it's far more likely they're just going to vomit all over you and
Yeah.
turn you to absolute waste. So
Yeah.
it's a fun little difference between the two, and that you've got the metal and the organic.
I think maybe the automatons were a bit more revealing to new players because they look humanoid. You know what bits to shoot instantly, and like you kind of understand how that's going to work. I think the Terminids are going to have that same depth. It's just initially I was just overwhelmed by them and was like, oh god, get away.
Yeah.
But I think there's going to be loads of different ways to take them down, and understanding that is going to be part of the fun.
For sure. And just 2 words, Bile Titan.
Yeah, 2 words I don't want to hear again.
Bile Titan.
Oh, I've heard them again. But so cool, so massive. The scale, I remember the moment we saw the Bile Titan for the first time, I think I did a little actual sort of whelp noise. And not the only thing there, you know? It's not like, and now here's the boss. It's like surrounded by its hordes of other creatures.
Babies.
And somehow managed to take one of them out. I don't really know how and at what cost. I think it was at all of our lives, basically.
Yeah, it was.
But yeah, that was a hint at the scale of the
taller
creatures
they
that we
are,
would be
there's a
fighting in this
trophy.
game, because that was really, really exciting and genuinely awesome. I was
Eliminate a
filled
Bile
with
Titan.
awe when I saw it.
I was like, I'm gonna crush it. They
Yes.
were very cool to see. This is a 4-player game where you team up online and you all come together and do your collaborating, your communicating, your strategizing to go to the battlefield together and complete missions.
Liberty.
As well as
It's here. Yep. Okay. I have a. Okay.
possible.
Good.
But most importantly, you can also compete against each other in a mini game on the ship.
Yes, you can, yes, which we did, and I don't want to talk about how it went, but I mean, we said how big a deal stratagems are in this game, and there is a little stratagem mini game, which is great. I don't know if you noticed, but it's actually telling you what stratagem you are unlocking as well, so you can learn the patterns, and you know good players are going to learn those patterns and do it second nature, whereas we were having to read all the patterns. But yes, the stratagem mini game was great. I mean, the co-op gameplay is just fantastic, and probably the best example of that is the friendly fire. It's not an option. Friendly fire is always on, and it's always funny, and we made so many mistakes and accidentally killed ourselves. Coming to terms with that was also really fun. I think we started to play better. We started to understand the different weapons each of us had and how they're going to be used, and started to be a bit more cautious or a bit more aware of where everybody was. And then communicating. We played one level on hard, and I mean, we were crushed, but we tried really hard, and it was so fun trying. We communicated our best. We were using all the little systems in the game to mark waypoints. We were trying to draw fire, lead the enemies away, choosing when to reinforce. I just feel like they've really honed what is good about multiplayer and why you should play it. It just feels like they've nailed it. It's just great fun, and we just scratched the surface.
Yeah, and the gameplay's amazing. But on to our next point, like the environments that it's set in also are a massive
cool.
boon, one might say, to the gameplay experience overall as well. So you're going to planets, they have like day-night cycles, they have different weather systems. Like you're going to go somewhere and it's going to be gorgeous, just morning light breaking over the planet's edge, and you go somewhere else and it's deepest night. And you go to the edge and you
Bro, come on.
just morning light breaking over the planet's edge, and
It's like a split second. Let me see if I can just playback speed.
go somewhere.
Okay, come on, getting. There we go. So this right here, I don't know what I want to know what this is. It's like collectibles on here, but it's like 2 out of 23, and this is 0 out of 5. Maybe like 2 different collectibles, and R, I guess it's in-game currency you get to have. Cause you drop so you drop 2 of these and drop 1 of those. What is okay? So every time you die, you get to drop them. I wonder if you can pick it back up, but I don't know what that's going to be.
And you go somewhere else and it's deepest night, or the same planet, and experience it in those different ways as well. And you can be out on a mission when the sun comes up or goes down, so you see it go across when you're
and here's the world
as well. And you can be out on a mission when the sun comes up or goes down, so you see it.
So it's like you show up the whole planet, I guess. And what is that? Nebula? I'm tired. Okay, it's 2 o'clock in the morning, 2:30 in the morning doing this. It says 60% liberated. Okay, so it's like the same. The first one. Okay, reduce the buff by any means. First, mission complete bonus. First time, second time. So I guess you complete a multiple 2 times, you get more of this. I don't know what that is. See the effects and the orders right here. I'll get to see easy and medium down here. Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's like the camera way. But yeah, it's like the liberated right there. Back to here. All right.
Across when you're in there too.
Yeah, all the kind of levels of
Track
visually
down.
generated
Right.
on these planets. You know, when you go to a planet, will determine what time of day it is. So you'll see the same planets in day and in night, and all these different maps. The sense of exploration, I think, was great. On these planets. You know, when you go to a planet, will determine what time of day it is. So you'll see the same planets in day and in
You just pick up Scythe
and
and oh, the sample container is still there. Okay, so they brought that back with a Scythe. I guess it's like different weapons you pick up as soon as you land. No, it's just like the extraction. So,
all these different maps. The sense of exploration, I think, was
Oh,
great.
okay, you can see
Every
the
time I
map
landed on a planet, I would
down
take a
there.
moment to just look around and really felt like I was exploring this planet for the first time. It felt like we were miles from home in enemy territory.
We
kind
were?
of- we were, and it felt like that. And like I was seeing this for the first time, looking around and trying to on the fly figure out where should we go, where's the high ground,
Found
where
a
are we going to get
sample.
attacked from, what are the hazards.
Where should we drop into the mission as well when
Yeah.
at the beginning?
Exactly. Where will we make our last stand? You know, like how will we make our last stand? Every time you go to this place, it feels fresh and new. We only saw like a couple of environments. We saw this beautiful snowy level, which I loved. That was so evocative. We saw like kind of a jungly, foresty one, very foggy. I'm looking forward to seeing all of these planets at all different times of the day and just exploring this galaxy that they've built for us. It's that mixture of it's been built, but also the levels themselves are procedurally generated, so it's going to always feel fresh. You're not going back to the same maps, you're going back to the same planets.
Yes, and they will have different missions, and you can ramp up or ramp down the difficulty levels, and
Yes.
everything all goes towards your
Alright.
community goals on the large galactic map as well.
Yeah, this is the other thing I really liked, is that we are all citizens of Super Earth and we are taking part in a galactic battle, as well as your own personal goals, whether you set them yourselves or the game, you know, gives you little kind of breadcrumbs to follow. There's going to be a larger community mission which is going to evolve. In our gameplay, the community goal was to try and liberate a particular planet and all the planets on the way to it. Whether you take part in that or not is up to you, but I found it really evocative and really cool and very kind of that genre,
man.
to know that every time I was on a planet, I was
Rocket
fighting
is
the good
back.
fight and trying to push out Super Earth's influence.
Yeah, that's all exactly it, isn't it? And that relates back to the first game as well, where Helldivers was all about this galactic map, community influence, spreading out across the galaxy, pushing back enemies, but it was from a top-down angle, so this
Yeah.
is a totally new experience, and
Oh, one guy can
really
carry the
welcoming
ammo.
for new players as well.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. If you've played the first game, I think that's great, but I don't think it's important to enjoy this game at all. And I love the decision they've made to change the camera angle. We obviously spoke to the deputy game director, and he was explaining how bringing the camera down to over the shoulder kind of restricts your view in a way, whereas from top down you've got an overview of the battlefield, but over the shoulder you're just looking in the direction you're looking, and how that brings so much to the gameplay of the squad-based gameplay with the friendly fire as well. You have to be on the ball, you have to be constantly vigilant.
You just
Another change from the
obliterated
original
him.
game, which I think is really interesting and important, is on the galactic map, is the galactic battle. Beforehand you were, you know, trying to win
That
a
was
war,
active,
a galactic war,
kill,
and if you
okay.
did, congratulations, you'd go back to the start, and if you didn't, commiserations. This galactic battle we're talking about now is going to be ongoing for the lifetime of Helldivers 2. I don't know that it can be won. The enemies are also fighting back. They're going to be adjusting their strategy depending
Yeah.
on how the community's strategy goes, and that is going to be changing based on what happens as well. There's an actual story to be told here. It's not just this week we're all trying to liberate this planet. It's going to play out in real time based on what happens in the game, what the community choose to do and how they choose to do it. I don't think I've seen that in a game before. That's really exciting.
I think there's loads to uncover with the Helldivers 2 story. The most interesting one for me is the change from cyborgs to automatons, and our pal Saga's like insistence that maybe they aren't the same thing as well, which
Yeah.
we're going to have to find out more from when we get our hands fully onto the game. So I'm going to wrap us up there. We're both really, really excited for Helldivers 2, and you can hell dive into it yourself from the 8th of February on PS5. Stay tuned for more lovely PlayStation goodness.
So the whole thing, let me go back to this little part here. It's like it's everything that I kind of like said. It's like new things in here, which I'm still excited. Let me see. Did it start from like right here? Let's go skip it ahead. So lastly, it's like it seems like everything is there, and a little bit disappointed. A little say not disappointed, a little bit sad that Cyborg is not there. So it's like what the map sees. You can see Helldivers active, killed. You know, enemies killed, KIA, bullets fired. So you see like what is all going on over there in that one specific area. Oh, in this area. I don't know if you're gonna count for both of them, maybe just like one specific area. But you can see major order ends in here. You see different stuff needs to happen. It's like the first one. I guess it's like Helldivers. I don't know what that's supposed to be. Like one side of the earth. The Eagle, 500k bomb strategy and turn rate available to all. Okay. So it's just different things that go on here. So it's like, oh, with a new challenge. So that's great. Trying to see if to not block my camera. Can I block it? And oops, did this okay, so I think it's still good. Yeah, I was sorry, just look at the wrong thing. Um Helldive was active, yeah, you see I guess in this area, enemies killed, 42,928. 2,000 died, bullet was fired. Okay, trivia is right here. Remember, trivia was right there. It's like difficult. Go to Super Earth. All right. And then you zoom in on this. You see one Helldiver active. Okay, so that's there. No, it just shows you like okay for all planets. All right. And you see, I guess the friends is right there. Number of magazines Helldiver to play with for all weapons decreased by 50. Okay. Then over here, you get to see different ones defend here. And I think that's really it. And see strategy and jam stuff. But yeah, that's about it. So I am looking forward to Helldivers 2. I'm probably gonna play the first one really soon. But yeah,